Hi folks, Pat here, and tonight's rant is about Bob Franken and Al Sharpton. Bob Franken, not to be confused with Al Franken, another left-wing lunatic, is a former CNN reporter who recently went on the Al Franken show, or excuse me, the Al Sharpton show, and Al and Bob were discussing how the Republican Party is chock full of people who want to return us to the good old days of Jim Crow and Jim Crow laws. And I guess Al and Bob really hadn't done their homework to realize who was behind Jim Crow laws and who supported them, because they may be surprised to find out it was actually the Democratic Party. And if you want the history of Jim Crow laws, there's an excellent article online called The Rise and Fall of Jim Crow. It's a multi-part series that goes into explicit detail about the laws, how they happened, how they did away with them, everything. It makes for very interesting reading. Well, anyway, you're going to run into liberals who say, well, yes, but you have to understand, the Republican Party then was the Democratic Party now, and the Democratic Party then was the Republican Party now, or some other bizarro world explanation that makes absolutely no sense, because they don't want to take ownership to the fact that they were behind us, the same as they don't want to take ownership of the fact that the Democratic Party was the ones who voted against civil rights. Anyway, enough of that. But as sad as this is, and it's pretty sad, the worst part is not just the preview of how much we're going to hear racism this year, because we're going to hear racism being behind every bush, up every tree, in every closet, and behind every sentence uttered by a Republican Party candidate. You know, and the worst part of this to me is racism is real. Racism does exist in America. I think it's better than when I grew up, as a child of the 60s. And it's better than when I grew up. But I fought against racism in my lifetime. I'm very proud of that. And I think it still exists today. But the people who are suffering from racism aren't in the White House. They're your poor black unemployed males who have one of the highest unemployment rates in the nation. The people suffering from racism are the poor, moms-to-be in the black community who are being pressured to have abortions. And if you had any idea how many black babies are murdered each year, it's staggering. It's mind-boggling. And these people are the victims of racism. They most certainly are. And racism is a terrible, ugly, terrible thing. But again, Barack Obama isn't suffering from the effects of racism. Are you kidding? He's the president. I mean, what's he being held back from? I don't understand. Is there a better job? And really all these now it's to the point where when you take every, there's an article about, someone did a caricature of Michelle Obama dressed as a queen, because of the recent stories come out about the Halloween party that the Obamas had that cost $1 zillion when everyone was suffering, from the economy. And some left-wing writer came up with the idea, well, the only way you could reach that conclusion about Michelle Obama is if you were using the uppity Negro concept. Really? So what are caricatures of white people then? Are they reverse racist, or what are they? I mean, come on, folks. Is racism when somebody passes you in a car, or or is racism when somebody buys the last donut at the donut shop, the last sugar donut? Is that racism? Or when somebody buys the last newspaper at the vending machine before you get a chance to buy it? We're using the racist label so much that it's lost all its meaning. And the sad part about that is, as people hear the word and turn and begin to ignore it and just filter it out, people who are suffering from racism are going to continue to suffer, and perhaps even suffer more. So with all this, Al Franken Al Sharpton and Bob Franken, here's my rant for tonight, and I appreciate you folks listening. Bye now.